Hello, riders. My name's Alex from Ride with GPS, and I'm here today to talk to you about using our system to get you all set up with planning your route, syncing it to your device, and using it on our mobile app. Ride with GPS is a new and proud sponsor of TCR and all of the Lost Dot races this year. We're really excited to be working with them, and hopefully you all are going to be able to get a lot of good use out of our tools when you're planning and when you're riding the event starting later in July. Um, a little bit about Ride with GPS, if you aren't familiar, is that we are a 17, almost 18-year-old software company based out of Portland, Oregon, mostly, but with people scattered around the US and me in Zurich. And so we're making everything that you're using ourselves. And we are dedicated cyclists who are passionate about creating tools that are built for you and for us. And we know that the tools that we're creating that we are personally fans of because we've made them and we stand by them. So uh, today, like I mentioned, we'll be going over a few tools and especially our route planner. In the chat is my colleague Kevin, who will be able to answer any questions you have. He will also be sending me questions that I will answer on screen. The Lost Dot crew is also in the chat, so they might be popping in with some answers to your question as well. So let's get started. So here on the screen now is my Ride with GPS account. It's where all of my rides and my routes live, and it's where I'm going to start out to put together my TCR route. But I'm not going to be working on a TCR 11 route. I'm going to be working on a TCR 10 route because I don't want to do any homework for you. So Lost Dot has provided you and me with parcours and checkpoints for TCR 11. They are provided to you individually and I think also available in a single collection. So I have a collection that I've saved to my account already from last year's parcours. And so that's what I'm going to work out of. Everything I'm going to show you on TCR 10 parcours, you can do with the TCR 11 parcours just fine. So there are a handful of parcours here that I want to use myself and build my own route. Each of these is created and owned by Lost Dot, so I don't have the means to edit them. I can duplicate them or make a copy and then use them as my own. So let's start out by opening each of these in their own tab so that I can make a copy of each of them. So here's on the first one, I'm just going to simply click more, copy to my routes, and click copy. I'm going to do this for each of them. I'm doing this so that they are saved to my account. I can really easily pull them into the route planner in a moment. And then I can construct my own TCR route. Copy to my routes. All right. So, all right. So each of these has been copied to my account. And so now I can pull them into the route planner. So a really nice thing about our route planner is that I can just pull in any of the routes from my account from while I'm already in the planner. And so here's, if I click import in the top left, I can, there we go. I can pull in, let's just start with 2. These are the first 2 parcours of TCR10, the start, and then the second down here. And so ultimately what I want to do is connect this one to down here where this green dot is. But there's a lot of work to do in between that. And so I think the best way to start is just to show you around our route planner so that you can familiarize yourself with all of the tools. And so you'll see that this route has already been started for us because this is one of the parcours. When I have it selected, like I do here on the left, if I just click along any road, like most route planners, you'll see the route line progress. I can modify the route as I've clicked along. Perhaps I want to stick to a different road rather than what it's plotted out to be. Like that. That looks a little more straightforward and fast, if that's important to me. Like that. I'll mention this. You don't want to edit that first section, that first parcours, because of course that is a required section for all of us to ride, and we don't want to get DQ'd or anything. And so I can, like I was doing before, modifying the route and clicking along the roads that I want to follow. As I'm clicking along, you'll see different things happening on the screen. You'll see the elevation profile is being extended. You'll see that the cue sheet here on the left is growing. These cues are the turn instructions for this route. So these cues will pop up on your screen, on your Garmin, your Wahoo, or our mobile app if you're planning on using these turn instructions. And then we'll also identify paved and unpaved surfaces here at the top, broken down by percent and distance, as well as on the elevation profile. You'll see this red and white dashed line there, also then indicated on the route line. Let's just start from the top of the screen. You'll see this layers option. This is a premium feature that you all have access to with the 6-month premium trial voucher that we provided. It will give you the option to show where things are paved and unpaved, as you might need to zoom in a little bit to get those to show up. These darker images, darker lines, excuse me, are the unpaved roads. So you can see that you can have those stand out a bit more there. Highlights are like public highlights that we show on the map. Like this one here is a public highlight. These are user generated icons, points of interest, services that might be important to you. There's not a ton of them available, especially in Europe, but it's growing. We're adding more all the time. And then we have a wind layer where you can see current wind, speed and direction, speed only with this color gradient, direction only with these little animated lines. Let me zoom out so you can maybe get a little better idea of some current weather conditions in Western Europe. This can be extended out up to 30 hours. And it's nice. These other three options are not available in Europe. They're only available in North America. We also have heat maps. So we have, you may have seen the personal heat map that was toggled on way over here. You can see all my rides. If you sync your Garmin or your Wahoo account, we should populate your personal heat map as well. That is a premium option. I don't know if it'll come in handy for my own riding. Maybe a little bit, but getting to control point 2, but maybe you've done some riding between TCR 11 in that area, so your personal heat map might come in handy. We've got a global heat map with lots of rides from people all over that you can reference when you're planning. You'll see the darker the red, the more popular a road is. That goes from dark red would be most popular, purple is medium popular, and light blue is little popularity. You can toggle it from last 30 days, last 7 days. If we looked up in the Alps, we could probably see little riding in the last 7 or 30 days, but a lot more in all time. I don't think you'll be dealing with much snow. I hope you're not dealing with much snow, but this could be a helpful way to see what people are doing currently. We've got some settings that you can choose between, but then the bigger thing at these top drop downs are our map styles. And so this RWGPS map style is one that we developed ourselves. It is based off of OpenStreetMap information. So OpenStreetMaps is the Wikipedia of maps. So anyone, anywhere can contribute route data, all the way down to water fountains or individual trees. It can get pretty extensive, but what we really tried to emphasize in this map style this custom map style of ours is bike infrastructure, gravel roads, and bike shops and transit. So depending on how zoomed in you are, those things will be revealed in greater detail or less detail. But we've got a lot of other map types that are available to you and all users. These aren't restricted to having a subscription or premium trial or anything like that. So we've got Google Maps. This is really great because I think it's something that many, many people are familiar with. And it will show things like stores. And these are things that you'll be able to make note of, and I'll get to that in a moment, of being able to see where things are on the map. We've got Google Satellite, so if you want to reference some aerial imagery, if you want to blend Google Map and Google Satellite, the Google Hybrid is a great option, where it's that same sort of aerial imagery, but with all these different stores and services that you could reference when you're planning your route. Terrain, kind of a shaded version of the Google Map. And OSM, this is a very detailed map that is kind of their general version, not tuned to any sort of activity type, compared to, say, OSM Cycle, which is going to emphasize where there are regional bike paths, city paths, And I think for a lot of long distance writing, this can be a really helpful map style to reference. We've got our OSM outdoor if you want to have a bit more shading relief. This is a helpful style. Same with Esri Topo, a very clean style, clean map style. I like this because the route line really contrasts well off of it. And I find myself using it a lot when I just want to focus on the route line itself and not have a lot of other visual things on the map. And then these two USGS Topo, not available in, or at least in great detail in Europe. Yeah. So, all right, we've got a little bit of route. Let me keep planning some more. One thing that you'll see when you click on the map and it extends, your route as it extends, are these white dots. And so these are control points. These indicate where you have clicked, and they give this sort of rigidity to the route as you're clicking and dragging on the route line. So what I mean by that is if I click and drag between 2 points, 2 of these white dots, it'll only be impacted between those 2 dots. So like right here, for example, I can click and drag, and outside of those 2 dots, it's not changing. But if I come over here, control point, and I remove some of these, you'll see that I can click and drag a lot more of this route, and I can release it and it will stick. If I need to drag it some more, I can drag it some more. And so that's what these control points do. And so again, on the right, you can add or remove control points here. If I wanted to add some, I can do that and make sure that the route outside of these 2 dots at the top and the bottom, it's not impacting the rest of the route. That's one of the ways that you can adjust the route line just by clicking and dragging. I will show you a second way that is a little bit more, you have a little bit more control of what the result is. And so rather than using the control points to click and drag and snap the route from the map itself, like I was showing you, I can use the elevation profile to modify my route. And so maybe I want to avoid this section here. I want to come down this way. So instead of using those control points, clicking and dragging, I'm going to take my cursor and drag my mouse like that. You see that it's highlighted here. And I have these options here on the right, delete selection. So I've cut these in 2. I have part 1, this in red here, and then part 2 here with the green dot. And I need to join them together. So I am going to extend the route on some other roads, and we'll connect into the route from a bit further to the east. And so once I get to the green dot, I can hover over it and you'll see a little preview in blue and it will join. I want to make sure that this gets adjusted there like that so I don't have a little out and back. And so now I've deleted the middle section of the route and rerouted it by using the elevation profile. Like that, and then delete selection, and then extend the route to the beginning of the second piece here. I think I'll make mention again that parkour, as long as I'm not adjusting on the other side of this control point, this parkour won't be impacted. Just add it in again, just so that you can have that reassurance as I hover over this one, and there's no variation outside of that. And I can remove this so it's not cluttering up my sidebar here. All right, so I have some options here on the right that might come in handy in different moments of your race. So by default, we will have your route be planning in cycling mode. So with this option selected here. A very nice thing that we offer is the ability for you to create a route with different routing preferences in a single instance, in a single route like this. I don't need to dedicate this route just to being paved or just to being unpaved. I can choose a section where I want it to be paved. Let's do that. So I want to make sure that there's none or very little unpaved surfaces being used until I get to a section where maybe there's a great shortcut that is a point that's going to cut off a lot of time, where I can just simply switch to unpaved and I'll choose some roads to follow that are going to prefer unpaved surfaces. On this map style in particular, you'll see these double dashed as gravel roads. Any other dashed lines would be like this one is like a path, which may or may not be rideable. And when I get to a certain point and I want to go back to paved or any surface with no preference between paved or unpaved, I can do that and continue on. All right. We do have other options like walking and driving. Walking is not going to it's not going to obey one-way streets. It will route you on places where you might not be able to ride a bike. It will largely prefer sort of bike infrastructure, so where you might expect like pedestrians to be, sidewalks, quiet streets, bike or pedestrian paths, shared use paths, rather than putting you on busier roads. Driving will follow roads, any type of road that a car would drive on. So it's not going to put you on bike paths, but it will put you on any street that you can drive, and that would include highways or motorways. So if this is an option that you're using, be very careful with what you are routing on, that it is safe, and that it is within the rules of TCR and their banned roads map. So a nice thing when you are using, maybe if you are using driving, and it's you want to make sure that this road is, reasonable to use, or even if you're just using cycling, either works. You can use Street View with the Google Street View person, and anywhere that you see these blue lines, you can click and drag and drop and see what this looks like in real life. Maybe see what this sign says. Where'd it go? There it is. 70 kilometers an hour, so a little fast. Narrow road, so it's something you can use, whether that's a small road or a big road. Again, you can just click and drag and drop that wherever you want to see what on the ground looks like. This looks a little more comfortable. You can also right click, and this is a nice power user tool where you can right click with your mouse to do a lot of things, and one of those includes show street view. So again, we'll be back at this road. So I just right clicked. It doesn't give me that blue line preview, but if you right click and nothing happens, then there's no street view. Otherwise, it will pop up like that. You may have noticed other features, other tools when you're right clicking, and one of those would be adding a control point, adding custom queue, adding POI, which I want to talk about right now, and some other things which we'll cover as well. All right. So we've got a good chunk of route planned, a little over 300K. I probably can't carry that much water with me. Maybe not enough food. I'm not sure. But what I do want to be sure of is that I have enough details in this route that I can know where services are, where water is available, where I can get food, maybe where I can sleep, anything I want. And so in this, I can add icons that are unique to me, as well as custom queues that would alert me to anything that I want to know about. So, we have this queue sheet, all these turn instructions, but and they'll alert me on my Garmin or my Wahoo or our app, but I want to make sure that if I'm passing the last bit of services for a long time, I know about it, and I don't need to remember it. I want my Garmin, my Wahoo to tell me. So I'm going to add a custom POI. Maybe I want to use the Google Map layer, find where there might be some services around here, around 230K. So here's a town. Do they have a store? They have a train station. Usually, might be able to find some services there. So I'm going to click custom POI and then click here to add a POI and then choose any of these icons or type in one of these icon names or just transit, and I'll know that there's food nearby. Um, okay, so now I have this POI. I just added it, and it gives me these two options: include at 226.8 kilometers or route to here. I'm going to click this include at 226, and it draws this little line. I'm going to actually make my route pass by here like that. And so this POI or waypoint gets added to my route. You'll then also see it gets added here into my cue sheet. So I've got all the turn instructions, but now I have this train station dash food that's also in my cue sheet. So this is a very new thing. We haven't even announced it yet, but I'm showing it to you now, is that you can add this point of interest. It will be added as what we're calling a waypoint, and it will be added to your route as this visual icon, but also as a custom cue in the cue sheet, which would show up on your Garmin or on your Wahoo, as well as on our app when you're navigating. So you can set up your Garmin and your Wahoo to your Coros, your Hammerhead as well, to wirelessly sync with us. And when you've got these routes saved to your account, they'll sync over to your device, and this will show up when you're navigating as a cue, as an alert. So it's a really nice thing that you can just be quickly reminded of these waypoints. You can also add custom cues that are not on the route, or excuse me, points of interest, not custom cues. Let's just say food. And this is just a point of interest, and it's not related to the route and being a waypoint. So you won't be alerted that this is over here because it's just existing as this icon that if you were looking at our app, you would see it available there rather than showing up as like this queue because it doesn't pass by. If I adjusted the route, I can then click it and then include. So then it gets included there, and then you'll see food included in the cue sheet. If there's something that I don't need this sort of waypoint for, I can just add a custom cue on its own. And then that will get added here, something like that. So this will also show up on your Garmin or your Wahoo after you sync the route to your device. So I have this route. This is, I'm going to consider this option one. I can work with a second option. I can duplicate this and then have kind of these two different versions I'll work with. So down here, I can duplicate the route. So here it's duplicated. I have this version and this version. And I can maybe try and smooth this out. Here it's rolling flatter, but this gets a bit more aggressive. So while we don't have an option that minimizes elevation gain, you can do some work on your end to maybe avoid some of the hills. And so, I think we've got a river here. Usually a good bet that we'll find less elevation gain. Maybe one of these national cycling routes. These are, I think, I've found typically more flat. And so maybe we can end up wherever that one kind of ends and see what we can get with a flatter route. These zero vela routes they can be pretty flat. Like that. Where's that other one? All right, so how'd I do? Any different? A little bit. So it's a little further, but a bit more climbing. You'll see the distance there, the elevation, and then this is estimated time based on my own riding. So the rides that I've uploaded and saved to my Ride with GPS account, it's calculating that based off of this. On day one, maybe it's pretty accurate. On day 7, who knows if it will still be accurate as you're tired. But this is a way that you can kind of work on multiple routes, in this generally in the same direction, making sure that you can kind of find what is going to be least hilly if that's a goal of yours. All right, so how close are we to control point 2? Pretty far. Let's skip ahead and take a big leap of faith on a route. So I don't recommend this, but I'm going to do it anyways. I'm going to draw a really long route. How'd it do? Oh. All right. So I've got hold on. Let's go back. I'm going to add in that second one again. Okay. All right, here we go. So I want to skip ahead. I want to just plan some route so that we can get to some other features. So I've got my route to the direction of control point 1. So I need to um, join into this. So I will do that by clicking this green dot. There we go. And so now I've joined that big long stretch from the start all the way to parkour number 1, which is this section. And then here's our control point. There we go, control point. And so this is a big long route that I'm gonna use, but I can't, or I shouldn't, and I wouldn't recommend trying to load this one route onto your Garmin, your Wahoo, or our app. So I will suggest, if you've gotten this far, that you'll want to split this up into some more digestible chunks. And this will benefit you in a few ways. It's going to make your routes shorter, make them more responsive on your device, loading quicker, taking up less memory on your device. It will make for a more granular elevation profile so that you're not seeing all these little tiny squiggles. You'll see that they are a bit, there's more hill to that compared to these monsters when you start crossing the Alps. And so you can split your route in a few ways. We have this nice split route tool here. I'm going to click it. And then I'm going to split it in distance. So you can do this in however you choose, but I'm going to do it based on kind of our advised about 400, no more than 400 kilometers. Routes longer than that can be quite heavy on your Garmin, your Wahoo, taking up some memory. So maybe as I get by Luxembourg, I'll split it. So now I've got this route here, and I've got this route here, which is the rest of it. And I need to keep on splitting it. So I can click split again and then find around 400K, like here. I can click on the route line. I can also just click on the elevation profile and it will split just like that. And then this one. I can click this again, but I can also right click on the route line and split it. Or I can, oops. Or I can right click on the elevation profile and split it. So now I have 5 sections and I want to save them. So I'm going to click Save. We'll call this TC1. I'll click Save. I need to go back to the planner, so I'm not going to click any of these buttons. I'm going to click this X button, and I'm going to click Save again. I'm going to call it TCR2. And do this a few more times. All right, TCR5. So I have these all saved. They're all in my root library. I want to, just going to view number 5. I can put these all in a collection, a folder that's easy for me to have everything in one place. So I can just start with one of these from here and click Save and New. And so now I've created that collection and saved it. If I come up here again, I'll see there it is, and I can view it. I want to add the rest of them, so I'll click Import, where I've got the rest of those that I've created. I can show a map under Edit Collection Details. There they are. I can put them in the right order, like that. And I can click and view any of these. From here, when I'm just viewing it, I can click to edit it in the planner and continue where I left off. Just with this one, maybe I wanted to smooth this out, find some less hilly areas to ride in. Maybe I want to pull in 3 and 2. And I added too many times. I can also join these back together, where maybe I want to make some modifications. Maybe I want to, connect from up here to down here in a different way. So I'll need to join these back together. And so there's that green dot again that I just need to click on to join them. Now they're back together as one. And I'd be able to, again, use the elevation profile to select, delete the selection, maybe turn on the heat map to see what is popular, and I can continue plotting along. Maybe find some reliable services on the outskirts of Stuttgart. Right. So there's, again, with some other options on the right click menu, You'll see these options to undo and redo, similar to how we have here in the upper right. Maybe you want to use the lat long for some reason. You can just copy it from there. You can look up something in OpenStreetMaps. So if you wanted to see what the characteristics of this road were, you can click show, or excuse me, look up in OpenStreetMap, and quickly on the right will load up these different ways, as they're called in OpenStreetMaps, and you can see some details about them that we pull from OpenStreetMaps. So good smoothness, it's asphalt, so it's probably smooth, it's probably nice to ride on. That only accounts for this stretch rather than the rest of it, but you can use that as a nice way to reference things. And if you want to go into a lot of detail, you can view it on OSM, or if you want to contribute back to OSM, which is always appreciated, you can edit it on OSM, and this will open straight away for you to edit there. All right. These two options might come in handy if you are in a really unknown area and you want to see what else is out there. Maybe heat map isn't reliable. Maybe you just want to see where people are riding. So right click again, explore nearby routes, inspect routes here. I'm going to explore what's nearby, and we'll see these different routes that are public that other users have created that might give you a little inspiration of what you could be routing on. So I can add this to the planner there like that. This one, for example, I need to reverse it since it starts here and ends here where my route already goes. So I can click reverse, and it will redraw the route and give me this pop-up before confirming. And after a moment, it will have redrawn the route where I can then splice into this. Okay, I think that's it. So what I'll do here is delete this section of the route. I'm going to come up here and click that green dot to join them. I'll add a control point on each side so that the rest of the route doesn't get impacted. And now I have this route from that I found is added to the planner, and I can continue planning to make the rest of my route. If I had other routes from my library, I could always pull those in as well, and splice those in like I just did with a public route. All right, so I want to move over to getting routes onto your device. So like I mentioned, you can wirelessly sync Garmin, Wahoo, Coros, Hammerhead. from our app, our website, onto your device. So you don't need to plug your device into the computer at all. Setting that up, you can do it from here on this screen. You can also do it from your settings page. If this is your first time viewing a route like this, you would see the button, it would say send to device, and it would ask you what type of device you want to send it to. For me, that's over here where I can send to a different device instead of exporting a GPX file. But I can choose Garmin, Wahoo, Hammerhead, other. And when I do this, if it's my first time doing this, it will walk me through syncing my Garmin, syncing my Wahoo, my Hammerhead, or other device I have. And so then you can sync the routes from us to your Garmin, etc., and navigate them there. Then any ride you record on your Garmin or other device will be sent back to your profile on Ride with GPS. So you have a ride history on your account with us. So I am a Wahoo user in my day-to-day riding, and so I already have this set up. So it's been, now it's available on my Wahoo. If you want to use a wired option, maybe your Garmin doesn't support wireless syncing, or maybe you just want to have it wired, a wired upload, you can still do that under the More option and export as file, where I have all these different file types to choose from. The Fit course, TCX course, these are going to contain the cue sheet that was generated, which includes any of those waypoints that I added to the cue sheet as well. The GPX track, this is going to allow you to just get the route line rather than the cue sheet. It gives you the line of the route, but you can add your POIs waypoints from here. So you can get those points to show as an icon on the screen of your Garmin if you have this option selected. These files would be added to the new files folder of your Garmin, and then they would be available on your device. All right, so we've got our routes planned, we've got our routes synced over to our device to navigate, but it's always important to have a backup. And a great backup to all of this is our mobile app, which looks like this. So this is our app. This is my phone, and you will see the routes you've planned under My Activity. You will see them under Library at the bottom. I can tap that and tap Routes after I sync it. There we go. But I also made that collection, TCR 2025, with all of my routes available there. I'll see everything that I saw on the website, including those waypoints. And a really important thing is making sure your routes are saved offline to the app. So if you don't have cell service, if you want to minimize how much battery your phone's using, you can have everything saved offline, phone in airplane mode. and still be able to reference the route line, reference the map, and Q sheet, elevation profile, even the global heat map, you can still have that offline. So I'm going to tap save and download for offline. I'll need to do this individually for each of my routes. As I go back to my library, I'll see that it is downloading in progress. Just make sure to keep the app open, our app open as it is downloading offline. If you put your phone to sleep or if you switch apps, it will stop the download. So keep that in mind. Here, when you're just viewing the route, let me find actually one that's closer by, such as like this. I'll see my current location in blue on that blue dot, and then my route there. I can swipe up to see the elevation profile. I can tap the elevation profile and see where on the route this highest point is. Q sheet, climbs, and I can switch map types where I can turn on the heat map, same 730 and all time that I can choose between. I can, I'm offline for some reason. I can choose these different map types. One thing to note is only this RWGPS cycle option will be available offline. So if I don't have cell service or I want to stay in airplane mode, I can only have this top option, RWGPS cycle, selected. If I choose any of these others, I will need cell service to use them. They'll work, but you just need cell service. And so let me go back to this route. I'm going to tap navigate. And I am not on the route. I'm not far, but I need to get to the route. So I have this option at the top. Maybe you needed to leave the course for a bit and you wanted to get back. You can tap at the top, tap to route back to course, and we'll draw from where you are to the closest point. and sorry, to generate cues from where you are to that point on the map instantly. Unfortunately, I can't show that to you right now. When I'm done, I can press and hold the pause button down below and tap finish. I'll delete that. We do also have a mobile route planner. So if you need to call an audible in the middle of your ride, you can pull up the planner and edit your route. I can modify an existing route, or I can create one from scratch. I'll tap current location and start route here. And then I can tap along the roads or paths that I want to follow. If you see a little deviation like this, you can tap the control point, that white dot, and I'm going to tap move. And then I'll drag so that it snaps how I want it, confirm, and then that smooths out. If the middle part, I want to avoid that funny roundabout, I can tap it. I will tap move again, and that adds a control point that I can drag, and let's see if it'll snap for me like that. Tap confirm. There. And move this one too. I am able to add points of interest here. Add a custom POI. And then drag on the map where I want to add it. Then I can, if I wanted to edit it, I can move it again. I can change the name or the description. And when I'm done, I can save it and give it a name. And if I have my Garmin connected or my Wahoo connected, it will automatically be added there. Same goes with my Coros or Wahoo. Depending on your device, you may need to pin it. Which from the app you can do from the save option down below. This one's already pinned, but I can unpin it and I can pin it like that. That depends on your device. I would recommend checking what works with your device specifically. All right, I wanted to show you something else in the website. I'm going to click Explore, and it's going to give us the option to search an area like this, and it will give us popular routes. We can filter by location, keywords, length, elevation, surfaces, out and back, point to point. Maybe there's some good point-to-point routes. Paved, mostly paved, any distance. We do see some that show up. And so, like I did before, I was able to pull this into my route. And so when I've selected one of these, I'll have these options at the top. I can save it, I can share it, but I can also edit it. And as a copy in the route planner. And you'll see that this has some details added to it. It's got a number of train stations added as POI. These aren't waypoints yet. They haven't been included in the route, but they have points of interest, which is always a good way to reference what other people are doing and adding to their routes. And so if you wanted to splice this into your TCR, let's see, maybe one of these two. Like that. Okay. I want to leave time for questions. I know I've had questions sent to me, but if there's any last questions that I can answer online here rather than in the chat, Kevin, Andrew, Lost.team, please send them my way. I've covered a lot. We have a lot of resources available for you. And I'll cover these just briefly. We have lots of help documentation. Let me go. It's this. Nope. This is good. ridewithgps.com/help is a great place to find lots and lots of help documentation on any subject that you could imagine. If you can't find the answer, you can always submit a support ticket with our support team. They work 7 days a week. They are super responsive, and they know everything you need that you could ask for to have a email conversation with them. We also have live chat available on the website and the app. And we also have the option for you to sign up for one-on-one webinars as well as group webinars. And so you can inquire with our support team if that's something you're interested in. I think I'm gonna come back to the planner one more time, just add in every of those copied parcours. So you'll see them all listed. I didn't mention this, but you can click and drag these so that they're in the right order if that's helpful for you, if you're planning everything all at once. If you do end up planning everything in one long route, make sure you're splitting it. And I think that covers pretty much anything. Again, if you do have more questions, please email our support team. I really appreciate you taking the time to tune in and listen and ask questions in the chat. I hope it was helpful. I hope you learned a lot, and I hope you get a lot of good use out of Ride with GPS as you're getting ready for TCR.